Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new. So I feel like these updates are just getting more and more deflative, to be honest with you. You may be able to hear it in my voice in this video, but honestly I don't even want to be filming this right now. The only reason I am is timing wise. Obviously I am fully aware that anything could happen at any point, so if I don't film it now I might never. So today I am exactly 40 weeks, so I have hit my due date, and I'm still pregnant. So if you want to see what I've been up to, how I've been feeling, all of that kind of stuff over the last week or so, then keep watching. So I know that only about 5% of babies are ever like born on their due date, so I'm not like dwelling on the fact that she's showing no signs of an imminent arrival. It's more just, I think I said this in my last update, that I've just kind of had enough now, to be honest with you. I just want her to be here. I want to be out of this discomfort and pain. Obviously I'm fully aware that I am super lucky to even be in this position even up to this point, but it's draining. Mentally, emotionally, physically, it's a lot. So yeah, that isn't much to update on really this week. I mean, the pain and discomfort side of things is probably the only thing that's kind of been a prominent thing over the last week or so, and that's mainly at night. Still, I'm waking up like throughout the night with quite a lot of pain around my ribs and the top of my stomach. It's not as bad if I use like my pregnancy pillow and stuff, but again I find it really uncomfortable to get comfortable with using that. So yeah, I haven't used it all of the time, but I have noticed a difference when I have used it. So I'm trying as best as I can to just get on with it, because I know I need to get as much rest as physically possible right now. So yeah, there is that. And the only other thing really maybe worth mentioning is I had my, I suppose it's technically my 40-week appointment yesterday, which I was 39 plus 6, and baby's back to back. So I'm not finding that's causing me any issues in terms of, I don't really have much backache or anything, so I had no idea that she'd kind of gone into that position. I know at my last appointment she said, oh, you know, she's slightly back to back. Obviously you can rectify it, blah blah blah. Obviously it's not impossible to give birth to a baby that's back to back, but obviously you can do certain things to make her turn. But yeah, at this point she is now fully back to back, which I thought I would feel more. A lot of people have said that, you know, they get quite a lot of backache and stuff because they can really feel that they're in their back, but I'm not really having that. Like, my back's a bit achy, but no more than it has been at any other point, so it's not been too bad to deal with that. So I have been starting to do certain things to try and obviously turn her, like being on all fours, bouncing on the ball, and things like that. I need to start doing some yoga and stuff as well, because I find quite a lot of yoga positions are obviously optimal for turning baby and things like that, and just being generally a bit more comfortable really. So I think I'm going to start that. I did a bit of it last night just to kind of see if I could, and I was okay, so I'm going to maybe do that as like a pre-bed kind of activity, just to maybe make my mind relax, and things like that. So it's kind of a full body and mind exercise rather than just an exercise to try and turn baby. So that's really the only things that have kind of happened this week. The only other thing that I have started to do is do some colostrum harvesting. So I don't think I've mentioned it in any other videos. I think I may have mentioned that I wanted to try and breastfeed, so with that I have started expressing colostrum as well. I think it's recommended for like most people, obviously it's worth checking with your midwife, to start it from around 37 weeks. So I didn't start that early. I was going to, but I just didn't. So I started this week. I started I think on the 8th actually, which was almost a week ago. I've not done it every day. I'm not even doing it morning and night, which I think is recommended to do it like more than once a day, but I haven't been. I've literally only done it once a day in the evening just because it's fit better with me. And so far so good. So I have been kind of updating on like my expressings and stuff over on Instagram. I wasn't sure whether to talk about it on there or not, but quite a few people had said to me when I shared it with them directly that I should share it and make it more normal. So that is what I've done. I have created a highlight on my Instagram, and I'm kind of sharing my kind of journey in doing that over there. So far I think I have almost 9 ml, so almost 9 full syringes of colostrum saved for baby. So I'm really proud of myself for doing that, even that many. Like, I know to some it can sound a lot, and to some it could sound like not a lot, but I'm really happy that I've actually managed to get that. So I'm going to take a couple probably with me when I go into hospital, and then I'll probably save the rest for at home. So yeah, that's been the only things I've been doing recently. I've had quite a few messages regarding that. Like I say, I did obviously mention it on my Instagram and stuff, and had a lot of messages about it, just saying like, oh, you know, are you doing it this way, are you doing this, that and the other, and like, you know, just how am I doing things kind of thing. So I'm hand expressing, I'm not using a pump or anything like that. I'm hand expressing, and I haven't followed any particular tutorial, but I have watched a couple of videos just to get a kind of rough idea of how to do things. Obviously it's needless to say, everybody's completely different, so I even found that I wasn't really getting anything doing it like from the techniques that people had shared. I found a different way worked for me. Obviously the general idea of like having a C shape and squeezing and things like that obviously were the same, but I found personally being closer to like my areola, that seemed to work better for me. Being further away, it didn't seem to work. So it's worth noting that if maybe you're struggling to do that, it could be many different things. It might not just be because you can't get any out, it might just be the technique or anything. So yeah, so that's pretty much that. So I will leave a couple of videos linked down below that might be of use to some of you guys in regards to like expressing colostrum and stuff. I would leave the link to the syringes that I bought as well, but they're currently unavailable. I just bought mine off Amazon. You can get them from your midwife, I think, in most cases, like across England at least. But I personally hadn't been able to because my appointments have been rather rushed every time, so I haven't even remembered to ask my midwife, but it's worth doing so. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I am going to go back to last week's video just to check for the questions on that one. My leg has gone dead and I cannot move it. Ah, fuck. So I did have a question asking if I could make a video about things that helped throughout my pregnancy. So I do plan on doing this. I don't know when it will be, but I do plan on filming that. I think it would be quite helpful, especially like with things going on at the moment. It's a bit of a kind of different time to be pregnant. So I thought it might be quite helpful. Before I saw this comment, I thought about doing a video like this. So the fact that someone has asked for it, I will definitely be doing that. In terms of other questions, I have got, have you ever gotten any rude or offensive comments due to the size of your bump? No, I think I've been fairly fortunate. in that respect. I think the only comments that I've had that have stuck with me is one from a not even teenage boy. This personally offended me. Well, kind of. I was walking down the high street, this was a couple of months ago, and I had like a bodycon dress on, so you could obviously like see my bump and stuff, and this kid just like said to his mate or whatever, whoever he was with, "Oh, COVID-19 baby." And I was like, excuse me, like you don't even know fucking half of it. Like honestly, if I was pregnant just because of COVID, like so yeah, that doesn't, it's not really rude or offensive in terms of like the size of my bump, but it's the fact that it was a comment made because he saw it, and to me it hurt. So yeah, there was that. And the only other one I got, which is still really weird, is that I answered the door one day to my post lady, and she, without me even really thinking about it, she just said to me, she was like, "Oh, how long have you got left?" And I was thinking, bit fucking random, you know, like don't really know you from Jack. And I think I was early 30 weeks, kind of around 32, 33 weeks kind of thing. So I said, "Oh, you know, I've got about 7 weeks left." And she was like, "Oh, you're massive." And I was thinking, oh, fucking thank you. And then it suddenly then dawned on me when I'd closed the door that she was actually a client of mine, and I didn't even recognize her. So yeah, it wasn't necessarily offensive, but it's like the only comment that I've had that said, "Oh, like bloody hell, you're big," like especially for that gestation, which I personally don't feel like I was. I don't know if I just maybe look bigger to other people, I don't know. But yeah, they're the only comments that I've had. I haven't had anyone like come and say anything rude or anything to me, or in like any pictures or videos or whatever. So yeah, I'm quite lucky in that respect. Do you have any trouble finding clothes that fit and cover your bump? So again, I've been lucky kind of in the fact that I've been pregnant through this pandemic and haven't really been leaving the house very much at all. So I haven't really had to change what I wear very much at all. I've been wearing like the same things throughout. Obviously did do a video recently on trying on my like pre-pregnancy clothing, and I did mention in that video that I have been pretty much wearing like my normal clothes throughout, or like if I'm just like around the house obviously not doing anything, while we've been in like periods of lockdown and not working, at least I've literally just worn pajamas or just sweats all day, because I mean, what's the point? I don't care if I look like Winnie the Pooh just sitting around at home all day like with my bump out. Like who cares? The only person that's going to see me is my husband, so it literally doesn't matter. When I've gone out, obviously that's a little bit more tricky, but I found that I've got enough clothes for those very rare occasions that obviously have to leave the house, like for food shopping and things like that, that I've managed okay. So yeah, I haven't really struggled, although I would say when I have ordered a couple of like maternity things online, just to kind of see me through more like summer and stuff, I did find that quite a struggle because of my height. So being pregnant and 5'2", it just doesn't work. So yeah, apparently that kind of body is not catered for. So yeah, that's the only thing I've kind of struggled with in terms of maternity wear and things like that. How has hubby been bonding with baby? Any tips? I don't really have any tips as such, other than obviously trying to make them as involved as possible, which at the moment obviously is very hard to do, because at least where I live, he hasn't been able to come to like any antenatal appointments. The only appointments that he's been able to come to is my 20-week scan, my 36-week scan, and the private scan that we'd booked. So that has changed recently, that he wouldn't have been able to come to the 36 week, but luckily He could at the time, but he hasn't been able to come to any other antenatal appointments, like midwife appointments and things like that, which I think probably has been a bit of a struggle for him, because obviously he has absolutely no idea what's going on, likewise with me. So the fact that he's not even been able to go to those, to just hear those little things that they say, and you know, like when they're measuring me and doing the heartbeat and things like that, he hasn't been involved, which is a massive shame, because I think obviously those kind of things do help with like bonding pre-birth. So the only things kind of we have been able to do is just, like I say, just trying to make him as involved as physically possible at the moment. So like when baby's moving and stuff, I get him to feel her kicking and things like that, but there's not really a lot else we can really do in terms of like bonding at the moment. Obviously once she's born that will be completely different, and I expect he's going to want to do like skin to skin and all of those kind of amazing bonding opportunities. So yeah, there isn't really any tips that I have on that one, unfortunately. Apologies if the camera angle has changed. I just tried to move to try and get out of the weird like dodgy light, but it's just not working. So apologies that I look like half Casper the Ghost and half I don't even know what, but we're going to carry on. So have you had any trouble bending over to pick things up or shave your legs and other areas? So in terms of bending over to pick things up, I feel like up until recently I'd done fairly well on this, and I put that down to one thing, and that is just trying to carry on as much as normal as I possibly could throughout like the earlier stages of my pregnancy. So I haven't really like ever stopped. Obviously I won't like pick up heavy things and things like that, but in terms of like bending over to pick things up, I've pretty much carried on as normal, obviously within reason, like I say. So I think that has helped my kind of flexibility now in being able to do those things. So yeah, I'm not really struggling so much to do that. The one thing I probably would be struggling to do if I were on my own would be to not shave my legs, because I don't shave, I wax my legs, but I would struggle to do that. So I have had my husband help me for the last few times I've had to wax my legs. Obviously with waxing I can go a hell of a lot longer in between, so that's a good thing. So he has only had to do it I think twice, just like helping me do the backs, because I literally just cannot reach. In terms of other areas, I feel like I've done okay. I mean, I don't really know because I can't bloody see, but doing it blind, it's hard. But I feel like I've kind of mastered the whole touch, feel, do kind of thing. I feel like I've done okay, but like I say, if I were to probably look in a mirror afterwards, I'd probably say otherwise. I don't really have any tips on that one. Leg shaving would just be, just make sure you're in the most optimal position. Obviously a lot later on it is a lot harder. I'd say, ooh, hello, hi there, where did you come from, son? Oh, I've just gone blind. Whoa. I'd say the only tip I would have on probably like leg shaving would be to like stand next to the bath, leg on the side of the bath, just so you can kind of have your pelvis slightly more open, because that's the only way I found being able to do certain things like putting socks on and stuff any easier. So I'd probably say it's quite similar for like leg shaving and things like that. In terms of other areas, I mean, I would probably just stick with the tip of don't friggin' bother, because blind shaving is rather dangerous. So yeah, I would just go with the option of just don't bother doing it, or if you're gonna do it, use a mirror because you can't see what's going on, so inevitably you're gonna probably miss an area or it's just gonna look shit. So yeah, there is that one. Have your boobs or bum grown during your pregnancy? In all honesty, I don't really know. I think my boobs have. Well, they must have done because I have stretch marks on my boobs, but I don't feel like they have. but then that's probably because I see myself every day, and likewise I don't really know if my bum's grown. I don't think it has that much. Like, I could still put my jeans on the other day, so maybe not, I'm not sure. I'll maybe put in some like comparison photos and you'll be able to like see from like my first bump date to like now. But yeah, I don't think so. I know this might be something you want to keep private, but how has your sex drive and intimacy been during your pregnancy? So I did see this comment and I wasn't going to answer it because obviously it is fairly intimate, and I will obviously just keep it brief because of that. And to be completely honest with you, up until recently it had been really good. Like, my sex drive has always been fairly low, and during pregnancy it just went up, and it seems to just go one of two ways. For people, you either just completely lose it or it just completely skyrockets. So mine, it went higher than it was normally. Only recently has that kind of changed, and I think that's more just down to discomfort and just generally being too tired and not really wanting to be intimate, or anything like that. But generally, no, I'm game. So yeah, I'm gonna leave it there, because I feel like, although I try to be very open and honest and I don't mind talking about TMI things, that might be a bit too much. So we're gonna leave it there. Hopefully that answers all of the questions on that previous video. I think that was the only ones pregnancy related, at least. So I'm going to show you a super quick bump date and then I will love you and leave you. Hopefully, fingers fucking crossed, this will be my last update. I really do hope so. I am booked in for a sweep next week, so hopefully if nothing happens before then that hopefully will help. If not, then I will be booked in for an induction the following week, which I really want to avoid. So please send over your positive vibes and labour vibes, and yeah, let's show you my bump. So like I said earlier, sorry, I have pins and needles in my leg. This is my exactly 40-week bump. Sorry about the angle. I can't fit in when I'm too close, so I'm a little bit further away than I'd like to be. But yeah, this is my 40-week bump. I feel like I'm a little bit lower maybe than the last one, hopefully. But yeah, this is 40 weeks with clothes, and then my 40-week naked bump from this side. From the front, which I don't feel like anything really changes very much from that angle, and then from this side. So that's it. Hopefully she won't be very long. Do you hear? You gotta come out now. So that concludes my 40-week update. I hope you have enjoyed this video. Like I said, hopefully it will be my last, and the next ones will be postpartum updates. So if you aren't already, make sure to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so you are notified every time I upload. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Make sure to leave a comment down below, even if it's just an emoji, just so I know you are watching, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye guys.